Trump, you good man?
Fuck you, Sleepy Joe. This is a witch hunt. I'm going to leave the country.
This is the best thing I've seen in a while. Trump want to start the realm before you get locked up.
Trump is about to be someone's bitch in federal prison.
Shut the fuck up, Obama. Go see your husband, Michael.
Trump, I'm gonna Jeffrey Epstein your ass, you orange fat slop.
7 federal charges, goddamn Trump.
This is bullshit. I'm going to make a post on Truth Social.
Trump, hurry up. We are going to make our last video.
Let's make a tier list. Mando, what should it be about?
Let's do a Star Wars tier list.
I am down for it. Trump, you have enough time to make this before the feds show up.
Obama, I have enough time. I don't have to go to court until June 13th.
All right, first if we are putting Visions in F tier. Now what do y'all think about episode 1?
D tier. Jar Jar was so annoying and the story makes no sense.
Of course, Sleepy Joe thinks the story makes no sense. Qui-Gon was a great character. Darth Maul is also a great character. I say a solid B tier.
Darth Maul is only good because of the Clone Wars and Rebels. I say a solid C tier.
Okay, it is C tier. What about Attack of the Clones? I think this is the worst Star Wars movie. F tier.
I agree, F tier. That sand line made me walk out of the theater.
Padme was so hot in that movie, I give it a C tier.
Joe, what the fuck, man? I regret helping you become president. I think the Geonosis scene was fun to watch. Too bad it was the only good scene in the movie. D tier for it.
I also forgot about that Yoda and Dooku fight. That shit was peak.
Let's not forget about Jango Fett. Reason the clones exist.
Okay, I will put it in D tier. What about the Clone Wars movie?
It's tier for sure. I love Darth Maul in this.
Joe, it's the movie. Did you forget to take your pills?
Fuck you, Obama.
It is no higher than a D tier. The story was dumb. Like they add Jabba's son and he never appears again.
C tier, the opening battle is one of the best battles in Star Wars.
C tier is fine, but besides that battle, I don't remember anything else.
Okay, I will put it in C tier. Now let's talk about the seasons of Clone Wars.
Season 7 is S tier.
Hell no, sleepy bitch. The first 8 episodes are mid at best. The Siege of Mandalore is one of the best things in Star Wars. It's a tier.
Can't believe this, but I agree.
Season 4 and 5 are S tier. These seasons are peak Star Wars content. Season 6 and 3 are A. Season 2 is B tier. Season 1, besides the Rookies episode, is C tier.
Season 5 is B tier. Besides the Darth Maul arc, what else is good in this season?
Holy shit, Joe, your dementia is on overkill right now. The Ahsoka arc and Mandalore arc are some of the best stories in Star Wars.
I agree with Barry over here. That Ahsoka arc made me cry when she closed Anakin's hand. But the best arc in the Clone Wars is the Umbara arc. The characters of the clones are great in this arc.
My personal favorite arc is the Fives arc. The way it explains how the clones were forced to carry out Order 66 with a chip in their head. His death was the saddest in Star Wars because of his character and how close he was to ending the plot against the Jedi.
Captain Rex is so cool and a great character. I hope we get to see him in live action.
He is supposed to be in the Ahsoka show. But Mando, it is kind of stupid to rank the seasons. Let's just change it to overall.
All right, Obama, we don't have to say anything else. It is S tier.
Nah, fuck that. Rebels is better.
Holy fuck, how did I lose the election to someone who thinks that?
Okay, let's move on to Revenge of the Sith.
I say it's an A. The opening battle was a masterpiece. The Order 66 scene was emotional. The final battle between Anakin and Obi-Wan was amazing. The only thing I disliked highly was how Padme died.
F tier, how dare they kill Mami Amidala?
Joe, please tell me you are joking.
I'm kidding with y'all. I say it is an A. When Anakin killed those younglings, I was sad.
Of course you were sad. You wish you could smell them.
Let's move on Trump before you get any more indictments.
Fuck you, Mando. He only wears a mask to cover his Mexican face.
Trump, you will be seeing 4 walls for the rest of your life in that cell.
I am not going into that prison for a day. My lawyers will clutch it for me.
Okay, Trump, please stop talking. Now let's talk about Bad Batch.
Bad Batch is kind of all over the place. The opening episode of the show is great. Either the episode is great or it is terrible.
The Bad Batch introduced some very good characters in it, like Captain Hauser and Admiral Rampart. Think it is low B tier.
I also have to agree with Joe. Also, the part when Cad Bane pops up and shoots Hunter and takes Omega was very intense. Cad Bane is one of the best characters in the Clone Wars as well. B tier.
I like how in Season 2 they showed that clones regretted their actions during Order 66. I say high C tier.
The clone commandos were also very intimidating.
The Order 66 scene at the start of the show was great to watch. I like how each member of the Bad Batch responded differently.
The Bad Batch will be placed in B tier. What are your guys' opinions about the Obi-Wan Kenobi show?
It is mid as hell. The plot is all over the place. First, it starts with finding Leia, and then it turns into Reva trying to kill a young Luke Skywalker. I say C tier.
I agree with Donnie. You're telling me that Luke would not remember that at all. But Darth Vader was a Chad in this show. His fights with Obi-Wan were so intense. He burned Obi-Wan as payback for Mustafar.
I think it is better than the Bad Batch in my opinion. I like how Darth Vader is terrifying in the show. He kills villagers just to draw Obi-Wan out. I say B tier. It was very underwhelming though.
I will put it in C tier. What about Andor? It is not the best Star Wars content in terms of action, but the storytelling and craftsmanship was the best. I say a tier.
I have to agree with Mando. The characters in this show are all very likable. It is definitely one of the best projects in Star Wars made by Disney.
I'm surprised that you like this show. The story of this rebellion is like Antifa. The show is a S tier. The camera work and cinematography is the best in Star Wars.
Nothing else I can add to this. It is S tier show and one of the best stories in Star Wars.
Joe, the story is good in this show. I don't care about the real-world comparisons to Star Wars. I am fine with S tier.
Okay, Andor is S tier. Now it is time to talk about Rebels.
And no doubt S tier. Sabine Wren is so attractive. I want to paint her body.
And I am the one getting federal indictments. Anyways, Rebels was mid in its first season or two. The later seasons were a vast improvement.
I like how they added Clone Wars characters into the story like Ahsoka and Rex. That final Maul and Obi-Wan duel was a great emotional conclusion to their story.
The most underrated clone in the Clone Wars, which is Commander Wolffe, came back in the show. Also, Grand Admiral Thrawn is one of the best villains in all of Star Wars.
Also, per usual, Darth Vader was great. I say it's an A.
I can agree with that, but it is on the line between A and B tier.
Rebels is going into A. Now let's talk about Solo. Nothing special at all in this movie. It is C tier.
Solo is the most forgettable Star Wars media out there. I say it is C tier.
I agree, C tier. Your turn, Joe. No way Joe fell asleep. Joe, wake up or I'm coming to the White House.
This movie puts me to sleep just talking about it. Put it in C tier and move to the next before I pass out.
All right, Robinette, let's talk about Rogue One.
Okay, I think this movie is an A. The nature and mood of this movie makes you feel like the heroes were going to die. This movie is the best movie that shows the Empire as threat to the rebels.
I think is B tier. The characters' names beside K2SO were forgettable.
The Darth Vader hallway scene was so scary, and you can tell how dangerous he is to the rebels and their plans.
Besides the hallway scene, the visuals were some of the best in the franchise. I will put it into B tier. Now let's talk about A New Hope.
To be honest with everyone, I think this movie is mid.
No way you just said that, Obama. This movie is S tier. There is nothing that I would change about this movie. Without this movie, Star Wars would never exist.
The newer versions of the movie bring the score down a little bit, but it is at least an A.
Mando, the newer releases, are kind of mid, but it does not affect the overall film in a bad enough way to lower the score past an A.
I remember going to the theater to watch this movie back in the day. Some of the CGI and props still hold up well today. S tier.
I agree with that, Biden, but the newer releases bring it down. It will be placed in A.
Hell no, it is S tier or I will nuke the whole goddamn planet. Try me, bitch boy.
Okay, Biden, I will put it in S tier before the planet looks like Yemen during Obama's presidency.
Fuck you, Mando.
I think we all know where Empire Strikes Back belongs. S tier.
I Am Your Father, the most iconic moment in film history. Back in the day, this plot twist was insane. I never thought that was a possibility back then.
The Empire was kicking the rebels' asses in that movie. That movie made Star Wars into a household name. Everyone knows who Darth Vader is, regardless if they watched or not.
Boba Fett was badass in this movie. S tier for sure.
Okay, I will put it there. Now let's finish the original trilogy with Return of the Jedi.
This movie is mid. The way Boba Fett is taken out is a joke to the character. The return of Anakin was one of the best scenes in the trilogy. But the Ewoks were so fucking stupid, they made the Empire look like a joke. B tier is the highest it will go.
Yeah, Trump and Melania thinks your dick is mid. Darth Vader returning to the light because Palpatine was killing his son was great. It is an A, no doubt.
Sleepy Joe, did you forget about the sequels? They ruined this movie and made Anakin's whole story worthless.
I have to agree with Donald on this. The sequels made this movie worse. If they never happened, this movie would be an A.
Okay, I will put it into B tier. Now let's talk about the best Star Wars show, The Mandalorian.
You can't rank this show, you are biased. It is your show, bitch, you have no say.
Fine, Biden. I will say nothing about it.
The first and second season of The Mandalorian were great, but the third season is mid as hell. The story only started in the last few episodes of the show.
Paz Vizsla was a great character. His death was sad because of his son. The way the Mandalorians united and put aside their differences were great character arcs for them.
The end of the season felt way too fast, and they got rid of a great character in Cara Dune. Sad to see her go.
She was a MAGA nutjob who compared herself to Jewish people in World War II. Besides that, the ending of season 2 was great. Seeing Luke show up and destroy all of the Dark Troopers was great. It is an A because of season 3.
Showed how powerful the Jedi were compared to our main characters. I also like Boba Fett and Bo-Katan in this. I say it's an A.
It's 2-1, Trump. The Mandalorian will be put into A. Now let's discuss the Book of Boba Fett.
It's an A. The flashbacks were great, and his connections to the Tusken Raiders was cool as well.
Joe, I have to disagree with you. The flashbacks were great, but everything besides that was pretty mid. The best episodes of the show barely had Boba in them. He was not even the main character in his own show. It is high C tier.
The new characters, like the 2K custom characters, were pretty bad and forgettable.
Trump Boba rode the Rancor. That scene was epic to watch. Also, Chrysanthemum was a great new character.
Chrysanthemum was the only new character that was good in the whole show.
Fine, I will change my vote to B tier.
Last point I want to make is Cad Bane was disappointing, and we all know he is not really dead. Disney will bring him back. Mando put it into C tier.
Bet Manchel's husband. Let's talk about The Force Awakens.
C tier, this movie is just like A New Hope.
Joe, I swear to God, if you make one more dumb take, I will take the White House from you.
Like how your supporters took over the Capitol building on January 6th.
Obama, go fuck your husband. Your supporters burnt down cities during the BLM riots. Anyways, there is enough that is different that it is not close to A New Hope.
I agree with you, Trump. Finn was a great character in this film. I hate the writers for what they did to him in the following movies.
The scene of Finn and Rey flying the Falcon was the best scene in the sequels. I say this movie is B tier.
I think it is an A, the best movie of the trilogy.
It's a B-tier film.
Okay, it is B tier. Now we talk about The Last Jedi. This film is D tier fucking trash.
The Last Jedi is a bad Star Wars film. The only good scene was Rey and Kylo working together to kill those guards. I say D tier.
I like how Rey was not connected to anyone in the Star Wars universe in this film, then they change it.
Just put this in D tier and move on. Fuck this film.
Okay, D tier it is. Now, Rise of Skywalker, somehow this film is worse than The Last Jedi. F tier.
Palpatine coming back makes no sense still. How can you clone Force users? And they copied Endgame's final battle with everyone fighting after all hope being lost.
Put this film in F tier. Kylo was the only good sequels character, and they kill him because of a Force ability that never hurt Rey when she used it.
Somehow Palpatine returned. They could not even explain how just oh shit he is back.
Good points, Presidents. Now let's talk about Resistance.
No. F tier, fuck no trash.
Okay, F tier. Now the last project, how about Tales of the Jedi? I think it is A.
Count Dooku's downfall to the dark side came from good intentions. Sad that Palpatine used him for himself.
I agree with Rump. Dooku's scene in Attack of the Clones trying to get Obi-Wan to join him to kill Darth Sidious. I say high A.
Okay, I will put this into A. Anyone think 1 is out of place?
Visions is at least a B tier show. Mando just isn't a mean hater. Anyone else agree?
Mando tried to sneak that into F tier to push his agenda. Sounds like communist suppression. Time to break the fourth wall and tell the person making this to play some patriotic sounds.
Fax play some patriotic TikToks of our speeches.
Before we play the TikToks, I will move to B tier if I get a TikTok too. I want to see a TikTok about me. Figure out if the person making this has good taste.
That is fair. Move it to B tier before we start.
All right, Obama, play those fire edits.
I told you earlier, all the talk of America's economic decline is political hot air. Well, so is all the rhetoric you hear about our enemies getting stronger and America getting weaker. Let me tell you something. The United States of America is the most powerful nation on earth, period.
The strongest economy in the world. We have the most productive workers in the world. And given a fair shot, given a fair chance, Americans have never, ever let their country down. Holy shit!
A new vision. vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first. America first.
Those were some great TikToks. I have to go play some golf before my court date. Wish me luck, boys. Peace out, boys.
Same here, boys. I gotta hang out with Grogu. Being a dad is hard.
Obama, I am out as well. I got to take my 3 p.m. nap. Running the country is hard.
All right, Joe. Time for me to play some Star Wars Battlefront 2.